Oh boy, it snowed. I should be home in my lounge chair watching football today, but here I am at Detroit Lake again. Well, this is silly. I'm not even supposed to be here today. The team was up here 2 weeks ago. We caught a bunch of fish and put them in the smoker, and that was supposed to be the last trip of the year. Maybe late spring we'll go out again. We were done. No more fishing. But, except for one thing. My dad, who's down in Phoenix, as we all know, well, we went down and visited them about a month ago. Not even that much, around Thanksgiving. And he gave me a hat, and he also gave me these things. Now he thinks that's gonna be a hot lure. Can you see that? Well, he wanted to know if I caught anything on them. And he was disappointed in our last episode when I didn't even use the dang things. So, I come up here today all by myself. The other part of the team is in Salem, kicking back, taking it easy where it's nice and warm, and I'm up here gonna try these out. So, you can be my witness whether they work or not. Here we go. Let me put this on and we'll give it a try. Well, we're gonna try the little silver one first. If that gets down close to you somewhere. Give it a little flip out here and see how many trout it gets. Okay, we'll let it sink a little bit. Must have got to the bottom by now. Well, maybe over there's a good spot. Huh. I don't feel anything. Maybe we better give it another cast. Well, maybe we better rig it a little differently and try it again. Flung that one a long way out there. That ought to catch a fish. It's not really knocking them dead right now. We'll see. Well, maybe it's not what they want today. Might kill them tomorrow, but today they don't seem real interested. I think if we're going to fill up the old smoker, I'm going to have to switch over to some power bait and see if I can find one that way. Yeah, it is odd how 2 weeks ago the fishing was just red hot out here, and today I can count the number of bites I've had, so it's just a different day, different conditions, different luck. Nope, nobody touched it. Well, the fishing is really poor. I've been fishing for 2 hours now and haven't caught a fish. just got a few bites. I may have to do what all of those pros do on the television shows where they go fishing and things get bad, things get slow, they can't catch anything. Well, they've got a trick they use from time to time, and this is it. And don't let it out. This is kind of a secret. Da-da-bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. Don't worry, I'm not going to take it all off. Ta-da! I'm wearing the same clothes that I wore 3 weeks ago when the fishing was hot. So if I don't catch anything now, ta-da-da-da, I can switch over to stock footage from 3 weeks ago and show me running down there to catch a fish, and you'd never know the difference. See? It worked, didn't it? Looked real. Caught a fish. But in real world time, I still haven't caught anything. Yep. Maybe I'll rerun another one and catch another fish. Maybe I'll get a bite and actually catch a real one. That'd be nice. Well, filming yourself is hard, but filming yourself not doing anything is even harder. On days like this when you don't catch any fish, it makes you appreciate the good days. I guess I'll have to go home and watch a video where I catch something. But that's why you do it. It's all part of the fun. It's unknown. Maybe I'll get one more bite and catch a fish, actually. So far, I think I'm about 0 for 4 bites, that is. One more and I won't miss him. You watch. Well, I got both rods out, and the fishing is going to have to pick up just to be poor. Wow. It is amazing the difference that when Darcy and I were here at Thanksgiving. That's the nice thing about when Darcy and I are working together as a team in this hard effort of catching fish. One of us can always think of something to do next. Now I'm kind of just standing here watching these two rods, hoping one of them will dip a little bit, but it's just not happening. It's amazing. It was red hot up here when we were here before. Filled the smoker up, no problem. And now I still haven't caught a fish, and I've been here for about 2 hours, I guess. Had 3 or 4 bites. That's it. So now, filming myself, which is kind of a weird thing to do. You get to thinking weird when you're filming yourself. I got to figure out what to come up with next. Maybe I'll get attacked by an eagle. That'd make it exciting. Maybe I can film myself falling in. I'd rather not do that. But filming yourself can be a challenge. I know last spring I hiked down into the canyon. Little stream down there. I went through the forest fire, all the leftovers, burnt up trees and everything. Blackened trunks, holes in the ground. Made it to the bottom. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll show you what I did. It's easier than trying to tell you right now, and I got to see if this thing bites again. Deer season isn't very far away, so I decided to do a little scouting for a couple of days in an area near Whitewater Creek that had been pretty much burned up by a forest fire in 2017, right at the foot of Mount Jefferson, and it might be good habitat to grow some healthy deer. At least that's what I figured. I shouldered my pack and headed across a burned area that the fire had scorched all the way up to the Woodpecker trailhead. There appeared to be some good plant growth returning to the area, and I hoped it was making a few blacktails happy. This isn't real high density air, but what the heck? It only takes one. Looking through the burned out snags, I could see Whitewater Road way down in the valley, a couple of miles away. I waved my goodbye to civilization and headed down. The fire had done quite a good job of destroying a bit of forest. The hillside was steep and the footing treacherous. If I fell, I might not break any bones, but I'd sure as hell wind up filthy. Then it got steeper and filthier. I plodded on, occasionally running into an obstacle or barrier like this mess. These used to be rhododendrons till they got burnt up. And we'll try this way. Sometimes after busting through a brush barrier, the scarred forest opened up a bit for travel. Well, we don't like to see that. Devil's Club thorn. Boy, that's like trying to walk through a barbed wire fence, but we'll see. Finally getting to the bottom of the hill, and it looks like it levels out a bit. Maybe it will be easier walking, we'll find out. Yeah, believe it or not, that looks easiest that way. Finally, the bottom seemed to be close at hand. Maybe the worst was over. Well, I was closer to the bottom, but obviously still not quite there. No easy way through slash like this. Just grind it out and crunch on ahead. Finally, I broke out onto an old skid road. Ah, now that's nice, easy walking, kind of like strolling down a sidewalk. Darcy's picking me up 5 miles from here in a couple of hours or so. A little bit of time for lunch first. Quite a walk. I've walked about 5 miles now. Seemed like all of it was horrible. I think the last 3 or 4 are going to be pretty comfortable. Ooh, I made it into Whitewater Lake. But I got to get back. So I turned around, stop here and have a little bit of lunch. Look at that sandwich. That'll build up the strength. It is a pretty setting here, but I still haven't seen one deer track. I did see a little bear sign, but the area is pretty thin on deer. Well, gotta go back and get the old camera. Maybe I'll just leave the flippin' thing there. Ah, no, I gotta go back and get it. Well, something's bound to happen here sooner or later, I guess. Maybe not. Like I was saying, this filming yourself can be kind of tricky. I filmed myself going down into a canyon this spring to catch trout and tried to film the whole thing. It was quite a day. It was a challenge. And I managed to get some fish. It was a good day and all, but having the camera and trying to make use of the camera is a challenge. That's all I can say. I'd give it a try sometime. I think I got everything in there. All that remains now is to get down to the bottom of the canyon. That shouldn't be too hard. Ha ha ha. That's what we're going to head down into. Holy Moses, I need a machete. Doesn't really look like a kind way to get into it at all. Yep, it doesn't help. Any angle you look at it, it's still thick. Nothing to it, just bust your way through. Are we there yet? Someplace it clears out a little bit. The walking isn't quite as bad, but I'm sure I'll pay for it up the trail a bit. At last I hit the river at the old wagon road. Through the misty vision of history, I find evidence of the old road's existence. This used to be an old wagon road. Every once in a while, here's an old steel rim off a wagon wheel. I come up here and find this kind of stuff. And I always give it a big push down off the trail. Maybe it'll stay there for a while. Hard to believe, 50 years ago, this was a recognizable wagon road. Now it's just a jungle, but there are places along this road. You plow through the jungle, and come up here, and you can see a little bit where the old road bed was. There's another wagon rim, kind of bent up. Pretty hard to tell where the old trail was. Plus, there's some other old wagon things. I don't know what they are. Maybe they help the old geezer's seat to stay on or something. I don't think he had stirrups on a wagon. First, I got to put the rod together and screw the reel in place and try to pick out a lure. This is the spot. This is where the honey hole was at, but it looks altogether different than it used to. The pool that I caught literally hundreds of trout on is gone due to a change in the river channel. There is a spot here that looks fairly good. I got to give it a try, but it ain't the old hole. This one does have a chair, though, and I think this old geezer will take advantage of that little change. That's a hit. Fish on. Big fish on.
That's a big one.
Nice fish. Don't let him flop off. That's a really nice trout. He's a good 14 inches, which is big for this stream. Boy, he's really pretty. We'll get him unbuttoned, then do a quick cleaning job, and I believe I have everything to turn him into a shore lunch, if I remembered the matches. And if I can get these old bones into a standing position, I'll just set the main course here while I whip up a fire. And I'm glad I don't have to do all this stuff naked like those people on TV do. Well, everything's going good with my fire. And now I'll just stick on a few larger pieces to do the cooking. Boy, this baby is a bit larger than I planned on. That's okay. I got to take off a head and a tail so that this critter will fit on the aluminum foil. That's not a bad thing. Beautiful spot here. You'd pay for a view like this in a restaurant. Pretty simple, actually. The foil has butter and seasoning already on it, and I just got to stick some of the good stuff into the fish's cavity and wrap him up tight. There, ready for the fire. He's on the fire, and I'll let him stay there for about 8 or 9 minutes or so. Then you pull him off and unwrap him. Peel the skin back from that wonderful pink fillet. And no fork needed, just fingers and a mouth, and I got that much. The fish is delicious, and the view, just look at it, is first class. This is living. If I could only just fly back to the truck. But no, I gotta hump it out of here, and that really isn't going to be easy. I did not see a single deer during 2 days of bushwhacking. Don't forget the camera. I wish I was talking to Darcy instead of looking here at you and talking to you, because you don't talk back. She talks back a lot. Oh well. We'll see if anything happens here. I got to get some action pretty soon, or I'll just have to give up and go home. Anyway, like I was saying, this filming yourself can be kind of tricky. I've been trying to accomplish the task a few times. I went on an antelope hunt over in eastern Oregon this year. Filmed myself for the whole time there, and that doesn't always work out the way you want it to. It took me 15 years to get an antelope tag, and 2021 was not the best year to be out there on those horrible roads chasing the prairie goats around. It was hot and smoky from a ton of forest fires. It truly was a year for the birds, whatever that means. But I got out there and tromped through the sage with my trusty camera. The worst part, naturally, is when you see the critter you're pursuing, and you got a camera and you got a rifle. You got a choice. Which one do you shoot with? In the end, you still got to go back and get your old camera, buddy. Boy, it's smoky tonight. Burns the old eyes. So, like I say, I miss having Darcy, not just for the conversation, but it's neat having somebody else on the camera. We take turns filming each other. Okay, that was a day of fishing that will be easy to forget. Luckily, the memories carried me through it though. Now I just got to get back to the truck and get out of here. Yeah, go back and get the camera. That's another thing about filming yourself that people don't think about. You always got to go back and get the dang camera. I'll film me crossing the creek, and that'll add some realism to the setting. Yeah, I know. Go get the camera. Ah, shit! A muddy butt seems to be the perfect end. It's been that kind of day. Well, some days the fish just don't bite, and there's not a whole lot you can do about that. But you can read a book. And this is a couple of good ones here, I know, because I wrote them. Now, if you're an Amazon Prime customer, you can read these free on Kindle. Of course, you can buy them, but free's a better price. Take care.